Have you ever tried to look at the sun? Of course not, you say. If I tried it even for a moment, it would damage my eyes. This is why, to view an eclipse of the sun, I must look through a very dark lens. Isn't it interesting that the sun is obscured by the very light which it produces? The hymn Immortal, Invisible, God Only Wise says that this is one of the reasons why it is difficult to see God, to understand Him. Immortal, invisible, God only wise, in light inaccessible, hid from our eyes, most blessed, most glorious, the Ancient of Days, almighty, victorious, thy great name we praise. The Bible often speaks of God as light. David said, "The Lord is my light and my salvation." Psalm 27:1. Jesus himself stated, "I am the light of the world." John 8:12. One of Jesus' disciples wrote, "God is light, and in him is no darkness at all." 1 John 1:5. Notice in this hymn of worship the many ways in which God is compared to the light of the sun. In stanza 2, we are reminded that God never rests, never hurries. Despite all his power, God acts so quietly in the universe that those who are spiritually blind never perceive him. This anonymity is why it is possible for some ecclesiastic leaders to propose that God may be dead. Like the sun, God needs nothing for sustenance. All things depend upon him. Like the sun, God's power never diminishes. He is immutable, never changing. In a world of turmoil and incessant change, we can count on his eternal justice, goodness, and love. Just as physical life depends upon the sun, so all life, physical and spiritual, depends upon God. Through the chemical phenomenon we call photosynthesis, plants derive food from the energy of the sun. We in turn obtain our nourishment from plants and from animals, which live on plants. Yes, God uses light, physical and spiritual light, to give physical and spiritual life to both great and small. This is why Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life." John 8:12. Revelation 21:23 promises that heaven's inhabitants will need neither a sun nor a moon, for the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb, Christ, is the light thereof. Another passage of Scripture, Isaiah 6:2, suggests that the angels cover their eyes because they cannot stand the brightness of his glory. If while we are still mortal, we fail to fully comprehend God, we must remember that the light of the sun is what makes it invisible. So we sing to him in humble praise, "Only the splendor of light hideth thee." It is foolish to think that we dare not believe in a God we cannot completely understand. We are confident that there is an earthly plane of existence, although we don't entirely comprehend it. The real wonder for us to ponder is that this transcendent being comes to dwell in our hearts if we invite him. Scripture verifies this truth. "For thus saith the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and lofty. I dwell in the high and holy place, with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit." Isaiah 57:15. Frederick Faber expresses this paradox of man's finiteness, indwelt by divine infinity, in a hymn of his own. "My God, how wonderful thou art! Thy majesty how bright! How beautiful thy mercy seat, in depths of burning light! Oh, how I fear thee, living God, with deepest, tenderest fears, and worship thee with trembling hope and penitent tears. Yet I may love thee too, O Lord, almighty as thou art, for thou hast stooped to ask of me the love of my poor heart. Immortal, invisible, God only wise was written by Walker Chalmers Smith, who lived between 1824 and 1908, who was a pastor and once moderator of the Free Church of Scotland. As you sing or read this hymn, notice that its opening phrase is a paean of praise appropriated from 1 Timothy 1:17. Now, unto the King eternal, immortal, invisible, the only wise God, be honor and glory forever. Unresting, unhasting, and silent as light, nor wanting, nor wasting, thou rulest in might. Thy justice like mountains high soaring above, thy clouds which are fountains of goodness and love. To all life thou givest, to both great and small. In all life thou livest, the true life of all. We blossom and flourish as leaves on the tree, and wither and perish, but naught changeth thee. Great Father of glory, pure Father of light, thine angels adore thee, all veiling their sight. All praise we would render, oh, help us to see. 'Tis only the splendor of light hideth thee.